I just spent the past 30 days drawing and coloring portraits with Crayola markers. Although I made a whole short form series on my YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Today I wanted to dive deeper into each portrait and give my brutal and honest opinions about them. And I'm going to include the reference. This is gonna be juicy. Let's get started with day one. I love seeing this one nowadays just to see how far I've come. The only thing is, when I posted this video, I was terrified. I was standing at the post button for 5 minutes like, should I do it? Should I wait? That was a time. But anyways, all I have to say about this one is that it's really stiff, disproportionate, and looks nothing like the reference. Like, you would never be able to recognize this person. This literally looks like a Roblox smirking girl. But other than that, I cannot hate on it too much because this is my humble beginning and I look back fondly on this. Okay, this one I can hate on. Much like day one, his facial anatomy is still very off from the reference. But the reason I hate it so much is because of the shading. I can't be too brutal on myself because I was experimenting and I wanted to try harsh shading. And there's definitely a way to do that good, but this is not an example of that. I can easily say that this is my second least favorite because there is something worse than this coming up. So this was my first child. Wait, this is the first child I drew in this series, and it was also the first time where I was like, yes, I did that. The facial anatomy is a bit better, and I love the color choice. The only thing is that my portraits at this point are still looking really stiff. Like, bro is a cereal box. Okay, I know I just said that I thought I ate on the last one, but this was my new fave. But you're probably going to hear that a lot, but basically in the beginning when you have a lot to learn, there's a lot of room to grow. But overall, I really like the stylization on this a lot more, and it looks less stiff in the face anyway. I also like the color combo. This one's interesting because I actually started this portrait at 9 p.m. and these portraits take at least 2 hours to make, which doesn't sound bad, but I go to sleep at 10:30 p.m. I'm a grandma. I need my 8 hours plus of sleep. So because of that, if you go onto my short form series, it's the quickest video. It's like 5 seconds because I just did a quick transition. And because I went so fast, I didn't really check back on the anatomy, so it's a bit off. And the shading is a bit off. But again, the stylization is nice, and I do love the big bow and the clothes. Okay, so I remember when making this, I hated because it didn't really feel like my style and it didn't really match the reference. But looking back, I think I did a pretty good job, and a lot of people to this day like this portrait a lot. I just felt so frustrated with myself that I couldn't get it to match the reference. So I think I was more mad about that than anything else, but it's still a good portrait. I love day 7. To this day, one of my favorites. Top 5 for sure. And even though her hand's a little bit too small in comparison to the rest of her face, and there's even some smudges here and there, I still love the colors, I love the shading, I love the expression and how free-flowing it is, and it's pretty dang close to the reference. We are improving. This one I also like because of the stylization it has and the way that it gives off Spider-Verse vibes. But I think the eyes are they're definitely going in different directions right now. But I still like this one. This is the point in time where my lovely friend suggested that I start trying to experiment with blending with the Crayola. And this blending changed the rest of my portraits for the better. He just looks a lot more three-dimensional. I just like how nice it looks. The only critiques I have for this one is that the dark shadows in this portrait are too dark. Like, it's so drastic from the rest of his face. It's a bit jarring, especially around his nose. So because of the knowledge that I have gained from day 9, it was a blessing, yeah, but knowing this knowledge, I kind of went a little crazy. Overall, it's not horrible on its own, but when you compare it to the reference, it's kind of I just overshaded a lot in areas and overblended in others, so it got a little messy. This is just part of learning. There's no way I would have mastered this on the second day that I tried. Honestly, still a pretty good portrait, but not the best. So for day 11, I used the Loomis method, which it's like a strategy for facial anatomy where you split the head into 3 different parts and draw a smaller circle and a bigger circle. It's a lot to explain, but I recommend it because the one thing I do like about this portrait is how natural it looked with the anatomy and everything. But I'm not really a fan of the color combos, and it was just kind of boring. Like, it was boring to do. I didn't have fun with this one, so I really have nothing to say about it. Another top 5 placer for me. The colors, the expression, how close it is to the reference. This one got me so excited. This is also the first time I didn't use black outlines for the portrait, and I love it so much better. It looks so much nicer, and like I took a wall down, but I loved it so much that I didn't use black outlines for the rest of the portraits. I don't know what it is about drawing old people, but it is so fun. The only thing I don't like about this one is that all of the colors are kind of dark, so there's no contrast or pops. Everything just blends. But I do love the stylization and how fun it was to draw, so this is still one of my favorites. Not top 5 though. Okay, so don't get me wrong, I love the colors, I love her vibe and how she's dressed and all that, but the facial anatomy on this one is a bit off. I feel like her face is just going that way. I just couldn't get the angle right compared to the reference, but I still think this one is pretty good and it was definitely fun. Now this one's a special one. Not only was it the 15/halfway mark of this challenge, but I also made it to 100 followers on Instagram, which is crazy now because I have over 200 followers on Instagram and 300 subscribers on YouTube. Like, this day was so exciting to me. Oh, and fun fact, this is actually me. It's a self-portrait. Do you see the resemblance? So I made a special portrait dedicated to this, and we even had a party in the comment section. It was really fun. So thank you to all my supporters from the bottom of my heart out there, but I love how this portrait came out. Admittingly though, the cake is not that good. I still really like it, despite the cartoony and out of place cake. I hate this one. Now, of course, if I'm going to make 30 portraits every day in a row, then there's bound to be a bad one. But bro, I was on such a high yesterday. Like, how did I go from yesterday to today in the span of one day? Like, what happened? It doesn't match the reference well. The shading and coloring is so off. Not to mention that this color, honestly, is not that good. Like, this base color green is not that good. The glasses are also goofy and like wiggly, and you could tell I was not confident in drawing them. But yeah, this is easily the worst one. So I also don't really like this one, but it's not as bad as yesterday. Nothing can beat yesterday. It's still a solid portrait, but it lacks definition in the face, and it's like, it feels like it's missing something, or as if it's unfinished. Oh, and also the eyes just kind of look unnatural to me, like it doesn't fit the rest of the face. I love day 18. I like that it's monochrome and that it looked way more defined compared to yesterday. And I also remember this day when I was sketching it, I was so confident in every single stroke that I did. Like, it was just coming out, and I felt like all the practice I had been doing had been paying off. Everything was just working that day. The only critique I have for this one though is the neck. The shading is so jarring from the rest of the face that it looks detached. And if you look closely, you can even see that I tried to cover it up with white paint and then color it over again with a lighter color, but then it got really messy. But overall, I still like it a lot. Okay, this one was fun, but again, it lacked a little definition because I could not find the secret sauce to make my portraits pop more until the next one. Big cheese shout out to my other friend who suggested that I use black to use in the darkest parts of the face. As you can see, I added black in his mouth, nostrils, eyes, and even black lines under the hair a little bit. This helped the portrait to pop out a lot more, and I didn't use it too much on this portrait because I was experimenting, but it was definitely the step that I needed to add more definition and to make the portraits feel more finished. Yes, I am a fan of BTS, loud and proud. But besides BTS, I also drew this because I wanted to try drawing a dog in the portrait, especially since I had a future project in mind that included a dog in there, so stay tuned for that. But I loved how it came out, the dog and Taeyang, because it actually does look like V from BTS. That's a really good sign. He's actually recognizable compared to the first portrait where the person would have no idea that that was them. But yeah, I love love this one and I think it's so cute. Rest in peace to his dog though. I said it once and I'll say it again. I love drawing old people. I just love her so much. She came out so nice and I love her expression and I just love it. I love the colors too. When I tell you this came out so good that my jaw dropped mid-drawing session. I was literally putting on some final touches when I turned to my lovely boyfriend and I was like, this got me so excited because I was like, bro, I'm getting good. It was so rewarding to see the fruits of my labor, and I love Tyler the Creator too, so it's a win-win. Easily my favorite portrait right here out of the whole challenge. Easily. This one's alright. I don't like the colors and how dark it came out. The thing I will say though is it is hard to draw a baby. I was humbled by this one because I thought I was getting facial anatomy down. You saw yesterday, like, I was so hyped that I was getting good at drawing. But then I drew a baby. They are literally built different. She ended up turning out okay. Still better than day 16. Day 25 easily has my favorite color combo, so also in the top 5. And it was my first time drawing a cat too, and I think it came out really cute. But yeah, I just love this one a lot. So after going out of my comfort zone literally every single day of this challenge, I decided to go light for this one, go back to the basics, just do a simple portrait. But little did I know that would be so hard. I wish I had pictures of all the sketches that I did for this one, but I literally had to redo this 3 times. Like, I was just trying to take a break here. Is that too much to add? But no. But I think it came out pretty in the end, and I do love how bright it is. Still going on the trend of drawing animals here, I drew a parakeet for this one today, and that was also so fun to draw. Animals are just so fun to draw. I definitely want to make a piece with only parakeets in it too one day as a future project, but the portrait itself is The parakeet steals the show for me. Shout out to my sister for thinking of this idea. I drew someone with vitiligo today because I thought that would look really cool with using different colors. And I love how it came out. And it was so fun to draw, which you've probably heard 1,000 times by now. The only thing is that the eyes are a little off for me. I can't even place why, but they're just not. They're just all, I don't know. I drew my Lord and Savior. I thought it would be fun to draw him, even though there's literally not a reference for him since no one was taking Jesus' picture back then. So I ended up referencing an actor from a show called The Chosen. But he came out so good. Like, I just like how 3D he looks and the way that the colors contrast against each other. I love it. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. Oh my gosh, when did you fall? Day 30! Y'all, going into this, I was so nervous. The pressure to make this good and better than day 1, even though that was bound to happen, I wanted it to be as good as I possibly could. I was questioning every single decision I made when drawing this portrait, and it was scary, but it came out so nice. Of course, this is just the beginning of my journey, and I still have a lot of improving to go, but I'm just so excited with how far I've come. It's just so much better. And I'm happy with the results. So we're gonna get the side-by-side in right now. Here's how they look together. I mean, look at that! I didn't know I was capable of doing that. I did not know I could do that. So, would I recommend this challenge for other people? No. Because let me tell you something. This was hard. And the only reason I was really able to do this is because I recently graduated college, so I just have a part-time job and I don't have to worry about school. I don't know how you would do this with school and a part-time job and other responsibilities you would have to do. And you may even have to turn away time from your friends or your relationships like I did. I would highly recommend taking weekends off or maybe just doing this 3 times a week instead of every day. It also might be beneficial to do it only 3 times or 4 times a week so that you can do it one day, sleep, wake up, and look at it again with a fresh pair of eyes, because you could get severely burnt out. And although I didn't get severely burnt out during this challenge, it was feeling like that. It was getting to that point and I was so worn. Some days were just so difficult and sometimes it took so long. I just did this challenge because I wanted to commit to art and to commit to eventually opening an art business, which is my dream goal. But I did this because I was scared to start, and if I had something to keep me accountable visible every day. This would get me out of my comfort zone, teach me how to post, and teach me how to figure out a lot of things along the way. Thank you guys so much for watching my very first video on YouTube. Much more content and much more art to come from me, so subscribe if you're interested in following along. You fell too? But hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye!